Hello, everybody. It's me, Lemoni. Happy Tuesday. Here for some more New World content. Now, what if I told you that the most recent release of the PTR March patch notes actually show that there is a 50% buff to healing effectiveness and general healing for healers in New World? It's the buff that you may not have seen, and it wasn't really highlighted. Not many people are talking about. But before we get into it, I want to say thank you for everything you do on a regular basis. I appreciate every single one of you. Some big things have been happening for the Lemoni channel here. We've server transferred to Marama. Sorry, Eden. Special spot in my heart forever, I promise. But big things have happened. We have been fighting wars. We've been doing all kinds of crazy OPR content. The games are sweaty, they're fun, and I'm with a great company and a great group of guys who are some solid gamers, and it is a blast. So before we get into the video, I just want to say, please keep doing that weird YouTube stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, tell everybody you know. I'd appreciate your grandma, your grandpa, anybody, your neighbor. But keep following the Twitch, the Twitter, the TikTok, the Discord, and if you want to support me directly, feel free to hit up my Patreon. One thing I will say about the Twitch is we've been streaming a lot and a lot of war content. So just like tonight, I was in 3 different wars, prime time, big server, competitive, tons of fun, and I'm giving that healer POV. So keep your eyes peeled, join the Discord so that you can see when I'm going live for those, or just ring the bell and stuff. Now, I should have released a top 3 video today. I skipped last week. I apologize. We have content planned out for this week. I'll have top 3 blunderbuss builds tomorrow. But I think this is a really important thing that not enough people are focusing on. I want to just say healers, as far as balancing goes, we've kind of been on the brunt of things, right? We've been getting nerfed. We've been getting things changed. We've never really seen a buff. And what I'm going to say is this is a bug fix, but it is a indirect buff to our healing loadout. So for any of you who haven't seen these patch notes, I will link them. You'll see them in the description. But if you scroll down, and we can cover a lot of this stuff anyway, but scroll down to combat, and you see general changes, okay? Now we have like all this, like ammo updates, looks like some good musket stuff, but I want all of you to peek your eyes at this healing thing, okay? And what does this say? Healing. Fixed an issue where incoming healing efficiency modification was incorrectly being capped at 50% instead of 100%. So therefore, we're getting a additive 50% to our potential healing effectiveness in total. So right now we're healing, and a lot of us are hitting some pretty juicy heals. Like I hit a 10k Light's Embrace. That is a big heal. Now what if I make it 50% larger? Right? What if that 10k becomes a 15k heal? And for those of you who don't know, you can stack Light's Embrace on top of people when they're in a Gravwell, because I hate the Gravwell meta, so that Light's Embrace is really good for that. But regardless, all of your heals, all of your AoE, everything you have, what if we could bump that up 50%? Well, that's what we'll be seeing in March. And I'm going to explain to you kind of how our healing is calculated, where we're at currently, and how we can maintain a 100% healing buff all of the time. All I'm saying is this is going to be huge in the current meta of throwing a Gravwell down, rooting people, and then just blasting Maelstroms and doing AoE. If we can kind of combat it with more healing effectiveness, yeah, sure, we can still get CC'd into Oblivion and stunned and rooted and everything. But at least this gives us a little bit more of a fighting shot against the current GA, which definitely needs a change, in my opinion. Anyway, let's just break down the skill tree of our current build and explain how this looks right now. So it's been a while, but here we are on the trusty New World database talent builder. So right now, as is in the game, we are at capped 50% healing effectiveness. So what does that mean? Well, let's just do a general PvP build here. So I take Absolved, Mending Touch, Blissful Touch, I go into Sacred, Juicy Heal, right? Holy Ground, Blessed, wait, stop, 50% more healing. All right, so we get 50% healing effectiveness. By just having people sitting on our Sacred Ground, this essentially caps our total percentage of healing effectiveness. Now, obviously, you get more healing from things like Focus and general weapon damage, but the modifications to those numbers, that 50% is now capped. Let's say you have somebody standing in the Sacred, this is the most percentage you will get increased. Okay, that's on live. So theoretically, you throw some people in there, that's all you need. Now, how much total percent do we actually get in this tree? Well, if we keep looking, general build, we get our cooldown, cooldown, sacred protection. This puts us at 5%. Okay, so we're at 55 potentially. All right, intensify. This will give us another 30%. So we're at 85 potentially. Let's say they get below 50% health. This puts us at 115% potentially. Then we go bend light, 135%. We go here. This puts us at 145%. I think my math checks out. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then rest of our PvP stuff. And boom. So right now in our current tree, we could get up to 145% effectiveness. So obviously, we'd have to remove that extra 45% with the current with the next bug fix, and we're at 100%. Now, obviously, you can't sit there at 145% all of the time. It doesn't work that way, right? We're capped, and you will be still capped. And it's very hard to like maintain things like divine blessing and always have people in your sacred ground. But there is a solid percentage that we can keep up pretty much 100% of the time, and that works because of armor buffs. So let's just break this down really fast. How much baseline do you think we can kind of maintain, right, without procs from things like divine blessing? Well, let's just look into it. Okay, passively, I'm not going to count sacred ground either. Passively, I think we can hold 5%, 35%. Would this be 50%? 55%, sorry. So 30, 50, 55%, 65%, just baseline. These are all pretty solid, really easy to maintain. Okay, so right now, as is on live, between our bend light, protector strength, intensifies that you should be able to keep rolling really easily, and sacred protection, we are missing out on 15% from our skill tree, right? So we're sitting there, 15% gone. Great, dandy, all that stuff. But here's the other thing of where else do we get passive healing? Well, we have sacred, which is essential on your ring as a healer, which then gives us another 8.5% that we're missing out on. So that 15% now goes up to, quick maths, 23.5% that we're missing. And what else are we missing? Well, blessed. And that would be another 20% that we're missing, right? So you can see we are missing a solid chunk. What did I say? We're missing 23.5%, add on another 20%, a 43.5% healing effectiveness boost on live. So in total, pretty passively between like bend light, intensify, all that stuff that we have on our skill tree, we should be sitting at 93.5% healing effectiveness. Now, like I was saying, we're capped at 50%, meaning we get that 50%, but that opens up a window of additional healing that we can make up for from things like, when we get a divine blessing proc or when we get a blessed proc, and we can hit that 100% healing effectiveness boost, right? So we have that now. The thing is, it is obviously not always feasible to keep intensify 100% rolling, right? Like sometimes you just have to throw out a heal. But that's where now we actually will get the benefit from, I throw it on sacred, they're below 50% health, I get 80%, and then I have the rest built in my gear. But regardless, it is going to be very, 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 very easy to maintain a 50% boost to all of our healing, just baseline, right? Think about how much more you're going to be able to pump out against these current metas and comps. I think it's absolutely absurd. I'm excited for it. And I think it is going to really help in this current AoE Gravwell meta. If all of our healers are throwing down, passive beacons, sacred grounds, orbs, stuff like that, that get an additional 50% boost, right? And then starting to throw in things like, okay, mending protection. Again, you can't get like these other stuff rolling. Maybe you can't get them in the sacred ground. That's another way of getting some additional healing effectiveness. We will never get like up to 150%. It's just not feasible because it'll get cut out. And I think that's fair and it's balanced. But I will say the fact of we have been for a while in the healer community trying to understand why are we not getting. We have all these boosts between everything, but why is it not actually there? And this now finally makes sense. So I'm sorry this is kind of turning into a rant of why this is so big, but I just want everybody to grasp the actual, concept of this is huge for healers in New World right now. And it is going to be a lot of extra healing. So how are we going to maintain our constant healing? If you didn't really want to watch a whole lot, how will you maintain a high 95% passive healing? So here's what you need. Take Sacred Protection, that's 5. Take Intensify, that's 35, right? And you have to maintain this. So you throw those out. It should be pretty easy to weave it in. This is, again, all pretty passive. So we're at 35%. Bend Light, it's easy to dodge. That puts that 55%. Protector Strength, 65%. and then we have our gear perks. So that's 65%. Then what is that? 73.5% from Sacred, and then we take Blessed, and that puts us at 93.5% baseline healing. So that's what you're going to need. Sacred, Blessed, and those perks that I just mentioned if you want to maintain a 43.5% higher healing cap than what you are at currently, which is essentially what every single one of us are doing right now. So there's not much else you're going to have to do, and you will see a giant healing boost. All right, so we might as well cap this off with what other changes are we going to be seeing in March, and I want to hear from all of you in the comment section. So Life Staff, what is in the current update? Orb, we knew that it was healing for 8%, but the text showed that it was healing for 10%. So not a big thing, just kind of correcting some values there. Sacred Protection, Spirits United were actually causing durability damage. That's why I think a lot of healers were having their life staffs just randomly break compared to the rest of their gear, which makes sense because we are running some of these perks. Sacred Ground, it's being changed. It's perk, like the little upgrade for it. It used to be called Blessed. It'll be called Anointed, so it's not confused with the weapon perk. Little Ice Gauntlet and Tomb change. Basic attacks, light and heavy attacks can now be canceled by self-targeted heals. So sometimes I get caught in an animation where I'm like whipping heals out everywhere and doing all that stuff. Now I can throw a Light's Embrace on myself and boop, it'll cancel. It'll actually give me that healing. It'll be more fluid. So fluidity is big in these updates, and I'm excited on where it's headed. Now, the last thing, Divine Embrace. This might actually make Divine Embrace a little bit more of a decent pick. If you want to run it, try and run some of those chain bounce builds. I'd be really curious to try one of those in an OPR sometime and just single target heal. But fixed an issue where channeling, the channeling UI element did not match the actual casting time of the ability. Hopefully, this will now make it so that Divine Embrace actually goes off right as the cast goes off, or it should. In general, on live right now, you're sitting there for an extra minute, an extra second trying to cast Divine Embrace, and it is just not good and does not feel good. So hopefully that kind of shakes up the meta a little bit, but I really doubt it given the current state. Right now, healing, here's my current view on healing. Gravwell sucks. Okay, new Gravwell sucks. The root for 1 second and getting hit by 4 or 5 of them because everybody and their grandmother is running a Gravwell. It needs to get changed, in my opinion. I just do not think pulling them and rooting them when we are trying to change this issue of rooting with like screaming is better, and everybody is having issues with it. It's causing lag. It's not letting us swap weapons. It's not letting us heal. It's not letting us do anything. And so I think current Gravwell definitely needs a change. So how does that relate to healing? Well, it just makes healing near impossible when you're getting pulled back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and everybody is running those. So I think as far as the life stuff goes, this 50% boost that we're seeing from a bug change will actually help with that a little bit. Doesn't help with like the CC piece. But as far as life staff, I really want to see them change some of the perks. I know I've made a video on this in the past, but if we go back to the skill builder, some of these perks, like Splash of Light, it's great. It can be solid, but I think what they need to do is get rid of the group member component so it's not just your party it's healing. Make it like a frontal cone, right? And then let's rework some of the stuff on the right side. I'd really love to see some changes, some actual balance changes in the healing tree. I know a lot of classes need some love, so hopefully we see in a future update just a bunch of weapon changes. But I want to hear from all of you. What kinds of things do you want to see? How are you feeling about the March patch? What are you excited for New World? Hit me with it. Drop a comment. I will respond. As always, sorry I didn't drop a video on Monday, but lots of videos this week. We're going to have, this video, a top 3. We're going to probably have a war guide. We're going to maybe have meta healing stuff popping up here and there. But regardless, I appreciate every single one of you for watching, taking the time to listen to me rant about this healing boost that maybe a lot of you didn't know about. So, as always, please keep doing that weird YouTube stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and tell everybody you know. I'd appreciate it. Tell your grandma, your grandpa, everyone. Follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Discord. I haven't made a Twitter. I guess I make Twitter posts, but TikTok. Join our Discord. And if you want to follow the Twitch, we've been doing some cool stuff. We stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10:30 a.m.-ish Central Time. I go for about 5 hours. Lots of OPR, lots of PvP, lots of fun stuff. And I will be streaming all the wars that I'm in. So like tomorrow, for instance, or I guess technically today, I will have one war. I'll go live for that. We streamed 3 wars tonight. It was a blast. So keep that up. I'm excited for all the content. The Marama boys know what's up, and I am excited for the future. And if you want to support me directly, feel free to hit up my Patreon. I do early content releases, all kinds of fun stuff, extra connecting point with me, and I want to be more active on there. So as always, thank you for every single one of you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for everything you do for me. on a daily basis. I could not be in this position if it weren't for every single one of you. So, as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And thank you to every single one of you beautiful people for being you. And AGS, if you're listening, please change Grab well. Thank you.